Hey guys, it's Allan Whatmore here, and in this video today, I want to talk to you about how you can use analogies in your day-to-day conversations with prospects and clients to make it super easy for them to understand complex topics and will help you save a whole lot of time. Your clients will appreciate you, your prospects will appreciate you. When you're dealing with prospects, it'll make this easier to convert and just help you all around. So I've got a couple of examples here. And what I want to do is I'm using this in the case specifically in financial planning. So what you'll see here is what normal people, day-to-day people would look at as sophisticated terminology. And I've got a couple of examples of analogies here and we'll go through it. And then that should hopefully make a lot of sense, right? So I've got a first one here, which is the concept of automated portfolio rebalancing. So if you're an advisor watching this, you're familiar with what automated portfolio balancing is, but a lot of people have no idea, right? How does that work? So an example of that you could use is what's called the barbecue analogy. So let's say you've got a barbecue here and you've got your grills and then you've got your pieces of protein here. Okay. And then underneath, you've got your coal, for example. And your coal will be spread out. You might have coal here, but then you might have like a lot here, for example, so on and so forth. So as you're cooking, or in other words, as your investments or your portfolio is being exposed to the market, there are going to be certain pieces of protein which are going to cook a lot quicker, okay? Similar to your investments, when they're exposed to different market conditions, they're going to grow a lot quicker. And so the need for portfolio rebalancing would be taking these sections here, which are pretty hot, pretty cooked, and switching them here to the sides, and then moving these ones into the center. And so that is one way that you can use to explain portfolio rebalancing. Now, it's a little bit of a weird analogy, okay, and you can create your own, but hopefully that's starting to make sense. All right. Another one here I've got is the concept of trust structuring. So using the vault analogy, think of trust structuring as you have a bank, okay, and you have multiple vaults within a bank, right? If someone tries to go for one vault, okay, or sue you, in other words, then they're not going to have access to the other vaults because they've got different sets of keys or they've got different sets of methods that they've been used to set up, right? Another one is the concept of a binding death benefit nomination. This is the flight attendant analogy. So imagine you're on a flight, you're in the air and you're flying and then all of a sudden there's turbulence. Your flight attendant or your beneficiary is able to then say, sir or madam, can I please take your bags and I'll place them in the overhead locker. So they have the ability to do that on your behalf. Another one is the pension phase versus the accumulation phase. Okay, using the factory or distribution center analogy, where typically when you're in the accumulation phase, you're doing everything yourself, you're producing items, you're working really hard, you're doing X, Y, Z, but then it'll get to a stage where we want to convert you into a distribution center where you're not having to work anymore, but we're managing the distribution of those assets, okay, into income for you, and we're doing so in a tax-efficient manner. So hopefully that's starting to make sense. I've got a couple of other examples of complex topics here just off the top of the head, like estate equalization, debt recycling, aged care, financial planning, salary sacrifice versus after-tax contributions, Centrelink asset test strategies, rent vesting, so on and so forth. So what's a really easy thing that you can do is you can use ChatGPT or AI and give it all of the complex terminologies or strategies that you use in your day-to-day and ask it to give you a series of different analogies, okay? And you can ask it to give you, let's say, 4 or 5. And then from there, you could pick the ones that you understand the most. But what's really good and what's going to help you a lot is if you can tailor this. So the art of this is learning how to tailor it specific to the prospect or to the client. For example, if a person is a medical professional or a doctor, any analogies that you can have or think of that come to mind in their field is going to make a lot more sense because it's going to be relative to their situation. In instances where you want to involve the client or the prospect as early as possible. So for example, have you ever been in a situation where you've had to do X? And say, yes, I have. Okay, cool. And so when you did X, what was the process that you had to go through? Well, I had to do this and this and this. Okay, well, it's kind of similar to this, right? Like if we put one foot in front of the other and we do X, Y, Z and you've got the support and guidance, then you're going to get to your goal. So I think that is essentially it. So hopefully this makes sense, right? What I would start to do is I would leverage a lot of these complex topics. And when I'm explaining it to prospects and clients, I would let them know up front, look, it is reasonably sophisticated, but think of it like this, X, Y, Z. Does that make sense? Okay. What questions have you got for that? What questions have you got for me on that topic specifically? All right, it's going to make it a lot easier. And you'll know when you're speaking to prospects and clients if they understand it. Okay. You'll just hear it in their tonality, in their voice. And that is the power of using analogies. Really, really, really powerful and great tool to use. So if you would like to see a client acquisition system built for you and your business, where we work with you in order to leverage analogies along with having a structured sales process to help improve your conversion rate, and you can sign lots of clients and help lots of people, then there should be a link below you can use to book in a call, but you don't have to. It's absolutely fine. Otherwise, I hope this has provided you with some context and clarity so that you can start to use analogies for yourself. My name is Allan Whatmore. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate your time. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will speak to you soon.